Hello everyone, here to go over option A of your Illustrator challenge and preparation for the Illustrator certification exam. So we're going to start off with opening a new document in Illustrator. So I'll go to File, New, or I could click on New File right here. And then it might ask you to make a print preset of something, or maybe it's for a mobile device, and you would find the preset for the mobile devices here. I'm going to go with print, letter size, and bleeds would be for an added a little area that gets printed to make up for printer error. And then this is for print, so the color mode would be CMYK. The raster effects are 300 for print. If it was for a screen, it would be 72. If it was, and the color mode would be RGB. And then if it says to name it, I would name it exactly what it says. And remember that it is case sensitive. And I would even copy and paste it from the question to enter it in. So I'm going to hit create. And then the first step is to create 5 to 10 overlapping ellipses. So first of all, I'm going to go to my workspaces and reset testing workspace. This is about what you guys are going to get when you start. Every question is going to reset the workspace to look like this. I think it's even one row of tools here. So I'll go to my rectangle tool and then click and hold or right click and grab the ellipse tool. And then if I click and drag with the ellipse tool, I can create an ellipse. If I hold shift while I do that, it'll create a perfect circle. And then I need to create 5 overlapping ellipses. And there we go. We have 5 overlapping ellipses. And then it says convert at least 2 smooth anchor points to corner points. So I'm going to use my direct selection tool. I'm going to expand these. And click on one of them. You can see how like the whole shape is selected. All these anchor points are filled in. But if I click one more time on this anchor point, you can see they are no longer filled in. I have just this anchor point selected. And these handles show me that this is a smooth anchor point. They move like a seesaw so that this path goes smooth through the anchor point. Now, if I go to my properties panel, I could convert this from a smooth anchor point to a corner point, meaning that the path abruptly changes direction right at the anchor point. And then I could also do that from the options bar, or I should say control bar, which is not visible when you start the exam. So I'm going to go to Window, Control. And then I could do the same thing from right here. So I'll click on this other point and then convert it to a corner point. You can do the same thing to convert it back. All right, and then the next step is to select all the shapes and group them. Then duplicate the group and combine the duplicated group into one object. So I'm going to use the selection tool here, not the direct selection tool. Click and drag to select all of these. And I'm actually just going to shrink these down a little so I have a little more room. And then I'm going to do this from the layers panel. So I'm going to go to Window, Layers, and then I could see that, well, first I'm going to group them together, duplicate them from the layers panel. So I'm going to right click, group. I could also go to object, group right here, or control G. And then from my layers panel, you can see that now my parent layer has a sublayer that's all grouped together with another sublayer of everything inside that group. Then I'm going to take this group and just drag it to the new layer icon, and then I've made a duplicate. You can see the duplicates there. Or I could hold Alt while I'm holding Alt, click and drag, and that's Alt dragging to duplicate also. I just hit delete to delete that other duplicate, and then I'm going to select this group again. Okay, the next step, oh, I'm sorry, and duplicate the group and combine the duplicated group into one object. So I'm going to take this group, and I can go over to my properties panel with all these selected, and go from the Pathfinder and click Unite. Another way to do that, I'm going to Control Z to undo, would be use the Shape Builder tool, but that takes a little bit longer. And then I could get to the Pathfinder panel from Window also, and that gives me a little bit more options. I get the full panel, not just from the Properties panel. There it is, and then I'll click Unite. Okay, and then name the original group Originals. So I'm going to go back up here to the Originals here and double click to name it Originals. And the next step is to add a second stroke and at least one effect from one of the menus here. Okay, so I'm going to go to just going to click on this, and then I need to go to Window and go to my Appearance panel. That's where I can add a second stroke or fill to any given path. All right, so I'm going to add a second stroke right here. A fill would be right there. And then we're actually going to make this a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to add the second stroke that's on top of it. I'm going to change the color to yellow, and we'll make it 2 points. And then you can see that in there, there's a yellow stroke on top of the black stroke. And then with this selected, I'm going to go to my effects, and then from distort and transform, I'm going to go to zigzag. And you can see it's adding a zigzag to just the yellow stroke right now. So if I hit cancel, and if I don't have that selected, I have the object selected. You can see if I go to Effect, Distort and Transform, Zigzag, you can see now it's affecting everything here, both strokes at once. And then we're going to bring this down just a little bit. And I'm just going to play around. It didn't give me any specifics, and that's a little much. We're going to go maybe something like that, and we'll say that looks fantastic. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. So I'm going to hit OK. Okay. And then create a new graphic style based on the stroke and effect you applied in the previous step. So to create a new graphic style, I need the graphic style panel, which would be under Window Graphic Styles, but it also, when I bring up the Parents panel, it comes with the graphic styles. And then with this selected, I'm just going to click New. And then if I need to rename it, I would double click on it and name it whatever they said to name it. All right, so I've created a new graphic style based on the stroke and effect you applied to the previous step. Now I'll create a 5-point star with a radius of 1 of 25 and a radius 2 of 35. All right, so back to the shape tool, go to the star tool, and instead of clicking and dragging like so, but if I did do that, I could press up and down on the arrow keys to add more points. And if I hold Control, I can extend the difference between the radius 1 and 2. So, but instead of doing that, I'm just going to click once, and then you can see that I have radius 1. I need to enter 25, and these are in points, so that's okay. And then 35 for the second radius, and we had 5 points. And then I hit OK, and there's my beautiful little star. And then all I need to do to apply the graphic style is, with that selected, click on the graphic style. Okay, and then the next step is to expand the appearance of that star. So I need to go to Object. This is an object, so everything affecting the object is probably going to be under Object. And there it is, Expand Appearance. And then the next step is to create a scatter brush based on that star, customize the settings. So it would give me very specifics, and that's where you would see specifics that you're probably not familiar with. But if you can get to the point where it says, where to get to the scatter brush, you will see all those settings that you don't know what they are in the question. So try not to be overwhelmed when you see a bunch of things that you don't know. Look for what you do know. So I'm going to go Window, Brushes, and I've got my Brushes panel. With this selected, I'm going to click New Brush, Scatter Brush, and hit OK. And then I probably would have to name it something specific. And then maybe I made some, there's specifics here that I would need to change, but I said to just customize it, and I'm going to scatter this too. And there we go. And I'm going to hit OK, key colors. Now we're going to keep that. All right, and then I created my brush. And then the last step here, apply the brush to the original group of ellipses. So I'm going to go back to my layers panel, and I could actually select this directly from the layers panel. There's my originals. And then I would go to my brushes and click on that brush, and oh, that looks crazy. But I've applied that brush to the original groups of ellipses, and I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. We're doing great. And that's option A. I hope that was helpful, and have a wonderful day.